Hey, what is up, Ape Nation?
Hello,
Prog
Prog Nation.
family. We are the Great Canadian Apes. My name is James Marin.
Jim Marin.
I'm still very sick, so I'm not going to be in it for this video. I'm pretty much 70% sure that I have COVID. But so my dad's walking away, but I'm gonna go back upstairs in quarantine. I just had to get this video up and going because he doesn't really know how. I'm the tech savvy one in our Great Canadian Apes YouTube. And anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome Christmas, awesome holidays, and I'll see you guys in the new year.
Hey guys, so he's feeling better than yesterday, and thank you for all your good wishes and everything sent in his way. Thank you so much. So today, we're down a penny. That's because the hedgies drove the price down yesterday to be in a spot where they wanted it today, I believe. We're going to be taking a look at today's price action. The Ortex Fintel short squeeze data. Hedgies are pushing shorts to all-time highs to try and get this price down, which is going to be so sweet once a catalyst happens to be able to catch them in that. Look at how the weekly options finished up and a look at next week's options as well. We're going to be giving you the price target for next week. This week's price target was 2 to 250, and we closed at 223, so it was right on. Prog is looking very good long-term, not financial advice. On the European market in Germany. And hello to everybody in Germany and Europe. Thank you so much. Special shout out to our good friend Pascal out there who calls this a bit of a roller coaster. We're just taking our seats for this roller coaster ride that's going to be happening. And he's saying, well, maybe not the moon, but maybe somewhere high up in the Alps is where this is going to end up. And I think you're right, Pascal. It was down a penny as well. Previous close was 1.95 euros. Opened at 1.91, had a high of 2.02, a low of 1.91, closed at 1.91. Prog was down a penny. Close was at 224, opened at 224, had a high of 232. Low of 215, closed to 223. Low volume again today, especially for a Friday, only 9 million. The SPY was up 3 points at 0.6%. The NASDAQ was up 131 points for a gain of 0.85%. Lately, Prog has been following the SPY and NASDAQ. Today's level of support was 215. The level of the resistance was at 225. Once we broke through that, then we saw that 233 kick in. Past levels of resistance for the way up is going to be at 250, 270, 287, and $3. Watch for on the downside support. We're going to have at 215 and at $2. To take a closer look at today's price action, after hours, we're trading right at that 225. And that's very similar to what they've done with AMC for quite some time. They want to be able to pin it kind of in between the price levels for the options, right in the middle. Again, we see right about the 215 level. That was level of support early on. Then to take a look at where, let's say, that 225 level was. So that provided a level of resistance right off the bat, first thing. Went through it at about the 1225 mark today, and then that 225 became a level of support thereafter. We broke through it again, and that became our level of resistance afterwards. We did have what was yesterday's level of resistance at 233, and that's where we went up to the 233. Seeing the 50-day moving average cross over the 200-day, and that was right about here at 157. And so we certainly did see a nice big push up and through actually that 225 level of resistance through that golden cross. As the 50-day then came down through the 200-day, so we had that death cross happen, then we certainly saw sell-off there. And to be able to take a look at a couple specific points, if we take a look right at 12 noon, so here, this is again where I feel that shorts are putting downward pressure on the price by systematically selling their borrowed shares right at that time. And so here we had a nice steady incline that was happening from, let's say, 11:45 up until 12 o'clock. Now, this candle here, it was reaching and going through that level of resistance at 225. It opened at 224, crept up through the 226, but then we had $250,000 come in to be able, so that at the yes, this did end up being 226, but then it would have been even higher. And the next minute came in and they put in 128,000 shares to be able to then ram it back down and put it in its place, they were thinking, at 12:02. And at the end of 12:02, then all of a sudden it's back at the 221. Now, there was significant, buying pressure happening. And so they get to a point where it's like, okay, well, it's not worth it for them every single time to sell shorts because they have to pay them back sometime. And so here we just kept on gobbling them up. And so we were able to break through that 225 mark in around 12:25. I feel at this point, this is where the hedgies wanted it. They had it in between today it had a low of 215, a high of 232. So that's, exactly where they wanted it, less than 250. And they didn't care much to put it down under $2. It was going to be too expensive for them. Taking a look at our options that expire today, Thursday, December 23rd. So we take a look at the in-the-money calls. Only 6% of the calls fell in the money. That was just these very few at the $1, $1.50, and $2 range. Everything else was out of the money. And the hedgies are the number one sellers of calls. Anybody can sell a call, but they are the ones that sell the majority of them. And please don't buy them anymore. They're crooked. If you've ever been to a carnival, that sort of thing, in Canada we have something called the C&E. And I remember as a kid you'd go and get some stuffed animals, and they would suck you in. And even though you were the best pitcher in the world against those milk bottles, you'd go and you'd throw it, and one was weighted. And so all of a sudden, even the best pitcher in the world couldn't get these 3 bottles down. And it's rigged. I'm sorry, but it is. And so they suck you into buying the premiums. They keep the premiums, then they'll drive the price down with the shorts. Now, for the puts, then 80% of that fell in the money. They are the owners of the puts. And only 20% was out of the money. So the hedgies had a lot to gain if the closing price today was less than 250. As we see, 94% of the calls ended up out of the money, and 80% of the puts are in the money. They're the largest seller of calls and the largest buyer of puts. They continue to short the stock throughout the week, often illegally, with Citadel benefiting from being a major owner of puts and also having 2 hats going on, being a market maker manipulator. Should be their official title. We will see increases. Now, thing is, they can't just short this forever. It's like putting more and more money on your credit card. On your credit card, all of a sudden your rates are going to go up, and you're going to have to pay that off, right? And so that's what happens to them too. And so they're going to see, we'll see increases in the price come January, I feel, not financial advice, because they shorted so much to be able to get this price where they wanted it. Now, remember the Grinch story. Now, at the end of the Grinch story, the Grinch brought back all the presents because the Who's in Whoville were just kept on singing and being happy, and in this case, hodling in these times where the price is low. And now I don't believe in hodling anymore when the price is up. You got to take your profits, right? But when it's low, artificially low through all these shorts, hodl on. Now, Kenny G, for the Grinch, will need to pay back all these shares he is shorting because this company is financially secure into 2023. And just look at what we have coming up for us in 2023. Progenity's super smart drug delivery system, the gastro GI targeted therapeutics are heading into their phase 3 and 4 stages. They're in partnership with Ionis Pharmaceuticals with 2 large pharmas. And then with the GI targeted therapeutics, DDS, then we're being supported. Progenity is being supported by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation through grant money. So there's obviously confidence at a very high level that Progenity is on the brink of something very good for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation and for the millions of people affected there. To take a look at the Ortex data, something that's kind of cool about the Ortex data that I'm seeing now is this order book. So let's just take a look of this right now. Look at this. This is times 100. So there was 1 million shares bidding at the 215. And of course, the shorts, they get this information. It's not like us retail buyers that don't get it. And I guess, well, here, Ortex is showing it as well. But they're going to see it more sophisticated with all the different orders that are placed. And so we see right here, there's a wall at like 215. Now, whether that's Ethereum saying that, okay, shorties, you can play all you want, that sort of thing, but once it gets to a certain level, you're not going to drive it down anymore. So here, try and get through this million. You just burned up 23 million shorts already. You want to go for 24, 25, 26? You're going to have to get through big orders like this. So the estimated current short interest is at 22.41 million. Currently 21.37% of the float. Utilization was down to 91%. Cost to borrow down to 34%. Days to cover still very low. That's why they can manipulate the price so much with shorting the stocks at 0.37 days. Shares on loan is almost at 30 million. 29.77 million, up 8% from last week. The percent free float on loan, 28%, 28.38, up 8%. The estimated short interest percent of free float, currently at 21.37, so that's up 8% as well. So yeah, as the shorts are artificially putting this, hedges putting the price artificially lower through all of this, they're going to have to pay this back sometime. Taking a look at the Fintel data, they're showing 18.1 million shares shorted with a short interest ratio of 1.54 days to cover, so they're significantly higher. They must be using a different parameter, a different denominator to be able to determine their days to cover. Perhaps it's always based on volume, and so they could be taking volume from a lower number of days than what Ortex is. The short interest percent of float, 17.3%. Dark pool short volume, 4.8 million. Take a look at it. That's crazy. That's like over half. What are they hiding? 54% of Progenity's volume going through the dark pool? Why? Dark pools are for major trades going back and forth between institutional buyers with huge orders. Today's short squeeze score, which is based on things from a couple days ago, is now at 82.97, which makes it 106 out of 5,400. So we're not going to bring this up anymore until we've cracked back in the top 100. Earlier yesterday, short share availability was 0 a couple times during the day. They couldn't short it any more than what they did. Now today, because the price was already down, then there was short shares availability in around ranging from a low today of 9,000 to start off the day up to currently was $250,000 with a borrow fee rate of approximately 30%. And everybody's got their puts. How many does and nothing updated in a month and a half. They're not even giving any information out. Here we have Citadel at 197,000 current puts being in there, and they're the largest again. And then Susquehanna is close second with 185,000. Alrighty, yeah, 54% traded on dark pools. What are they hiding? Maybe they saw our video from yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's video, go back to it. There is 3 specific points that they put in 10 times the volume that should have come in that minute to be able to jam it down past the level of support. And so yeah, maybe they saw our video. So then all of a sudden they took everything to dark pool. Anyway, look ahead for the rest of the week. A little bit of a look ahead for the into next week and into the rest of the year. So hedge funds and market manipulators' price targets will continue to have their price pegged under 250 because it's the same situation with the options. Big point for them at 250 and not so much at $2. But perhaps they're still going to gun for under $2 to recoup earlier shorts. Who knows? Due to the tax season, this is the last week for investors who bought Prog at levels over their current prices, who could look to sell to capture tax losses, putting downward pressure on the price next week. They then, of course, could buy back first week of January. We don't feel that there's going to be an announcement of a major merger, acquisition, or partnership, or a new drug, or any other catalyst occurring over the Christmas season. So there are not going to be any FOMO buyers or anything like that. It's just kind of is where it is, and the price being manipulated. So for me, I'm hodling on when the price is low. The price goes up, I'm selling part of my shares to be able to get profits in. You got to take your profits, apes. I don't know who else is out there. I was up hundreds of thousands of dollars in other stocks. And it was hodl on, and now I don't have those hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm learning as we go through the market to be able to sell when I'm up, and it's working out well. But at this point, I'm hodling at the low. Don't let the hedgies scare you at this point. Not financial advice. This perhaps the most manipulated stock in the market. Highlights for the week. What have we brought for you this week? Progendi has now raised $160 million thus far in Q4. Progendi has reduced expenses by $145 million annually. They are poised to be profitable as soon as one of their many products hit the market, such as preeclampsia, gastrointestinal products, their drug delivery system for diseases such as Crohn's colitis, their oral biotherapeutics delivery system for people with diabetes or cancer, and they're working with the drug Humira to be able to have that in pill form, and that is a multi-billion-dollar. All of these are multi-billion-dollar markets. Any one of these go through, shorties are going to get in a world of hurt, and I love it. Hedgies push price under 250 for the week. However, in doing so, has increased shorts to over 23 million. 30% borrowed, 22% shorted. They're going to have to pay this back sometime. See, the Grinch has to give back the presents, especially if us people in Whoville are just saying, we're okay, man, you know? And no, we're not going to sell when you put it low. We're not going to sell low. Weekly options chain had 94% of the calls out of the money, 80% of the puts in the money. Stop playing weeklies. Don't play weeklies. Go for leaps. Go for next year. Go for the year after. Or just buy the share. It's $2. Buy the share. Anyway, price target for the week was 2 to 250. We called that early in the week, and it closed right there at 223. We are saying our price target for next week's going to be the exact same thing because the hedgies are in the exact same position. They're looking to have their options be benefiting them, and that's going to be under 250. And I believe that Ethereum and us and everybody is saying, no, this is not worth less than $2. And so I'm going to keep on buying. I bought 3 times this week. Prog's looking very good long-term, not financial advice. And from our family to yours, and we're wishing James a Wish he could be with me during these. Certainly they're better videos. And sorry, guys. And, have a lot more fun with them. Here's our dog, Nanook. Now, Nanook is Inuit for polar bear. And so here we go. Here's our husky that it's a rescue dog from up north. And so, rather than her, hanging out outside and getting in trouble all her life and trying to make ends meet with eating out of garbages and stuff like that, then, of course, there's the rescue programs. And so we got her, and she was a big white, husky to start out with. And so we called her Nanook because that's polar bear for in Inuit. But... So, Merry Christmas, or Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. We hope you and your families have an awesome celebration, and see you next week for some great Boxing Day specials that Kenny and the boys are going to be serving to us on Prog Stock next week. Thanks very much. Take care, guys. Love you. Bye.